Hi there, welcome back to the channel. A viewer asked in the comments of the last video if I could explain how I control the layout. So this is a quick video just to describe what I'm using and how it works. So I've got a DR5000 base station underneath the layout, and that is controlled by 1, 2, 3 tablets. They were all bought from a charity shop, didn't cost too much. I also use the Z21 WLAN mouse, and I've also got a LocoNet enabled DT400 throttle. That plugs into the LocoNet there, and I've got another LocoNet here, and I've also got a LocoNet hiding behind there. Gives me plenty of options for plugging in if I need to, but generally I tend to use the Z21 and the WLAN throttles mostly. So the layout is split into two zones. This side is controlled by the DR5000 base station, and that is set up to stop everything if there's a short or the emergency stop button is pressed. And on this side, the fiddle yard side, that is controlled via a booster which lives underneath. That's a Digitrax booster. I'll just turn the light on and take you under there. So there's the Digitrax booster, and that is actually a fully fledged DCC base station, but you can configure it through CVs just to act as a base station, so that's what I've done. The points on the fiddle yard are controlled via this mimic panel on the Z21 app. They are controlled using broke my neck on the mat there. Servos in 3D printed mounts, and there's one of those servo controllers at each end of the layout. They each have 32 channels. They're made by CMME, which I think is Chester Models and Miniature Electronics. They work really well. They get their DC signal directly from the DR5000 to prevent losing control of the points if I get a short on the fiddle yard, which is where I normally get, because I'm being an idiot. Sometimes I drive the drain through and I reset the points. We've all done it. This side is short and overload protected by a DCC Concepts. I think what it's called is an IPCB, which I think stands for Intelligent Power Circuit Breaker. Something like that anyway. That's what those three buttons for. This one is controlling that one. I did have the whole fiddle yard linked to three separate ones, but I could never get them to work independently of each other, so I took two out and sold them. So now this button and this button here are redundant. On this side, the points for the centre sidings are controlled by this DCC Concepts Alpha Central control panel through a DCC sniffer, which is under the layout where it can't be seen, and there are 10 DCC Concepts IP digital point motors and 2 tortoise motors that are linked to a NCE Switch 8 accessory decoder. The layout is powered by a master on-off switch. And on this side, I've got this little setup here where I use my old NCE power cab for my testing and programming. And it's set up like so. Usually I've got a laptop on this pull-out drawer. Unfortunately, the laptop has developed a fault and it's going to go away and be fixed. And that's what runs iTrain. Talking about iTrain, I haven't yet got the feedback detection set up because, as you probably know, trying to get hold of stuff like that at the moment is very difficult. And they're getting more expensive all the time, and as I'm retired I have a limited slush fund that I can use to spend on the railway. So the power cab fits in there, and then got this little switch panel, just double pole, double throw switches, and I can choose between these, the DNC power cab for programming, setting up, or I've got a sprog down there which links to the laptop, so I can switch between the NCE and the sprog and their center off, and then I can switch between DCC and analog control if I want to, so I can use this old Hornby controller to run locos in if they're not chipped. Well, generally it's a good idea to run everything in before you chip it just to make sure it works right. And then this last switch on the panel, this side, I can choose between the programming track, which is there, or the rolling road, which is there. And then on this switch, I can switch between the power cab, which is on the program side, and the run side allows this track to be switched into the DR5000 system, and it means once a loco is programmed, I can, if I want, drive it into the fiddle yard and do what I need to do without actually physically touching it again. That, I think, is the quick and nasty power control, how I've wired it. The lights are all controlled off of separate power supplies, which are plugged into the circuit that I use to switch on and off. So basically what I've got is this is fed by a plug which plugs into the main power in the shed, and then it feeds out to various plugs where I've got power packs, etc, plugged in for certain things. So the yard lights are all AC, running at 15 volts AC. The Belisha beacons over there, they run on 3 volts DC, so they've got a dedicated power supply. And the flashing crossing lights, they're also off that 3 volt DC supply. So that's that. When I eventually get this porter cabin placed, it's already got the wiring in for, it's got lights and everything in it, I fitted those. That runs off 12 volts. I've got a 12 volt DC power supply for that. And that's about it, lights wise really. Don't go in for lights much myself. They're nice to look at, but you know, generally I run this with the lights on, daytime running, so there we go. Hope that answers your queries. You can see from my last video that every single piece of track has got its own droppers that then link into the DCC bus that gives power, so I don't get voltage drop going round. I don't have snubbers or sniffers or whatever they're called because I've twisted the wires to try and prevent the interference causing issues with the decoders, and obviously, although it is a roundy circuit, isn't as such because this side is powered by the what the... Oh, brain fart, what's going on? The booster, and this side is powered by the DCC controller, which is the DR5000 DigiKeys. And they're electrically isolated, and I can lift this section up. And that horrible noise you can hear is the warning that it's up. And that's done on the micro switch, which is just there. So, turn the power off, and that goes away. I put that in because there was a couple of occasions where I've come in all excited, ready to play trains, and forgotten to put the lift up section down. Which, as you can imagine, could get quite expensive quite quickly. Anyway, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate your support and your feedback and all the likes. Please like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Helps the channel immensely, and it means I'm not wasting my time making videos to put onto YouTube. Thanks very much. Bye for now.